Welcome to lesson number 2. We're going to talk about beat and rhythm. And if I were teaching a class, which I'm not, I'm teaching you who are going to teach a class or learn this yourself. If I were teaching a class, I would say open your books to page 3 and point to A1. We're going to start right here. And I would say, what is the difference between beat and rhythm? Tell me, give me your ideas. You can think of those yourself. But then I'd say, let's just think of beats as like a heartbeat. Here's my heart beating. And it just goes steady, hopefully. There's kind of a dub, ba-dub, but it's just a beat, beat, beat. And I would say, touch with me all of these hearts in a steady beat. We'd go beat, beat. And I say, you can be like a robot, and you can't speed up or slow down, you just go beat, 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 beat. Then I'd say, now look at A2. In A2 is there's a rhythm inside the beat. The rhythm is the part you actually hear. So listen to this, and I'm going to put it down while I do it. I want you to touch the beat squares as I say something, and you're going to listen to what I say. So 1, 2, get ready, go. Ta, titi, ta, 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 titi, ta, ta. Now to ask my students, what did you hear? What did I do on that second beat square? What did I say different? What were the two things I said? And they would say to me, you said ta and you said Titi. So we would talk a little bit about ta and Titi, and we'd do it together, and I'd say, can you do it with me? Let's do the ones that are just a little black circle with a line as a ta. The ones that are 2 black circles, I actually say 2 things, T. Inside that beat, while that beat is happening, I say Titi. So let's do it together, and we do it together. So do it with me. Ta, titi, ta, 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 titi, ta, ta. Let's turn the page. Turn the page. You understand ta and titi. A3. Point to A3 on page 4. Do you see that cute little bird? And he's sitting on a flower, right? I like this picture because it kind of helps us understand the parts of a note. That bird is right next to a note. Here's our note. Can you just guess what part of the note you think might be the head? And kids would say all kinds of different things, but I'd say, yeah, it's that black circle. That's called the head of the note. And if you look over here on A5, there's some that are black heads and there's some that are white heads. So you can have a black or a white head on a note. And then I'd say, now, do you guys see a tail? So here's my little bird tail. He's got 3 feathers. But how about on the note? Do you see a tail? And I think they're going to just get this. It's that little part right here. That's the tail. And then I'd say the other part is called the stem. And the stem is just straight up. It can go straight up or it can go straight down. But that's called the stem. And some notes like this one don't even have a stem. It just has a white head. So we talk about the different parts of the notes. And then we'd say, on the first page, I had the rhythm, these notes were inside a beat, a heartbeat. But heartbeats are kind of hard to draw. So let's make them beat squares instead. It's the same thing. You just want to touch the squares. So here I have a ta in a square and a titi in a square. And over here I have a 2 in a square. Now you haven't heard a 2 yet, but a 2 is longer than one beat. Remember, if we have a beat, we have to say it right, steady, right? Remember, we've touched it steady, steady, steady. If I get to a 2, I go 2. It goes through 2 beat squares. Pretty cool. This is called a toe. It's that one that's a white head with no stem and no tail. And that one actually gets 4 beat squares. Toe. It's a very long note. So now you know 4 different kinds of notes. Oh, now I have a question. Look at A5. Can you see 2 notes that are exactly the same? They have a black head, they have a stem and a tail, but they're different in one way. And I would ask the children, how are they different? Well, we look at these 2, one's upside down, and we'd say, yeah, it doesn't change anything about the note if it goes up or if it goes down. The stem goes up or down. There's reasons why we do it, but they're still the same thing. So we know, what are the 4 kinds of notes we know? Ta, titi, 2, and toe. Okay, we know it. Then we go to A7. We're just going to do a little practice. We want to feel the beat. In every song, we want to be able to feel a beat. You don't necessarily hear it. Sometimes there's a drum that just goes boom, boom, but sometimes there's not. But you still want to feel the beat. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use these beat squares. These beat squares have the words of our song in it. This is the alphabet song. So we're going to actually touch in here. And most of these only have one letter in it. That would mean that there's a ta. Okay, and I'm just telling you this because there's just one thing that happens. A, B, can you do it with me? Just touch as we sing. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Did you notice that for G, I actually had to touch 2 B squares? It's a 2. So if I were to take this with my students, we would take a pencil, and I would have to maybe draw a couple of these things in. We can have all kinds of things in our beat squares. It's just what happens inside the beat. So I might say, here's a ta, and I draw a little ta right there. And over here, I might draw a 2, and I draw a white circle and a stem, and then I can pull it over like that so that I can see it's both. We could draw a few of these, or we could just keep going. So let's just try it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Ooh, we did something different here. L, M, N, O. There were 2 things that happened in this square. So what rhythm syllables have 2 things that happen in a beat square? Do you want to go back and look? Do you remember? Here's one. 2 things happen. It's a Titi. So we could draw a Titi in that square. And let's just draw it right under it. We could draw one head under the L and one head under the M and draw a stem. Oh, and I didn't tell you that a Titi could look like this guy over here. This is actually a T by itself. But when there's 2 T's, they hold hands. And it looks like this. Did you see how they're holding hands? It's called a beam, but they just hold hands. So on here on LM, I'm just going to draw a beam. Because there's 2 things that happen there. On NO, there's also 2 things. And on P, what happens here is a 2 again. Okay, so we could just kind of go through this. The point of this exercise is to be able to touch the beat. So we kind of play a game. And I'll say, you guys have to be right on the beat. You have to be a robot. And when I stop, you have to freeze. And we're going to see if we're all on the same beat square. And so we'll just kind of play this game and see if they can feel the beat. There's lots of ways for children to feel the beat. We can clap, and we can see if we're all on the beat. We can hit our knees if we're sitting crisscross applesauce. We can hit a drum. You know, we want to feel the beat. We can march, and we can feel the beat. So we'd want to do those kinds of feeling the beat over and over until you can tell that all of your students know how to feel the beat.